Welcome back to another edition of See Ya in the Kitchen. And today we're going back to old school Italian roots. We're doing homemade pasta. We're going to do it grandma style, as I would say. We're going to build a well. We're going to put the eggs in it. We're going to beat them together. We're going to get all the dough together. We're going to let it rest. We're going to roll it out. We're going to use our KitchenAid also to help us. And then we're going to make two different types of pasta. First thing you need, flour. I used to always use the double aught zero flour. It tends to be stretchier, gives a little more give to me. And then I use whole eggs, usually 1 egg per 100 grams. It tends to be depending how much pasta you want to make. Right now I have 400 grams, we measured out on the scale. So I have 4 eggs, but I like to be mine a little egg heavy, so I actually add 2 extra yolks for a little more richness in the pasta. So we'll put this out on the board. And we're going to want to build a little well in the middle. Now my grandma used to just put the eggs right in there. If you want to see, they're ready to go. I like to actually beat them first. There we go. No escapees yet. That's always the fear. We're going to add a little bit of salt. Good pinch. We're going to add just a little bit of olive oil. And now the fun begins. We got to try to incorporate all the flour into the eggs slowly as we go. Takes a little bit of patience. I mean, you can do it in the bowl mixer, don't get me wrong. I've done it before that way, but I like to do it the old style way most of the time. I get a little more feel of the dough. And this is something that usually takes you a few times to do. I know it took me a few times. I used to always have an escape liquid. So we're just slowly incorporating all the flour into the eggs. And once we are done with this, it does have to rest for a good half hour before you can start working with it. For your final assembly. We are going to need it once we get this together, then we're going to let it rest. Now as we got most of the liquid absorbed, we can start bringing in the outer parts. Alright, about the time we get dirty now. I'm trying to form a ball and soak up all that flour. And it's going to take, 5-7 minutes here to knead the dough, using the palm of your hand mostly. Now people are probably wondering about what wine to use. It all depends on the sauce, to be honest with you. And we're debating here. We might do a red sauce, which would probably be a good Chianti or Brunello. Then if we use like a pesto, there's a lot of ways you could slide with that, like a Sauvignon Blanc, even if you want to go white, or an Amarone, maybe a little too dark. But you probably can go Pinot Noir if you want it, if you're doing a really lighter sauce. But when we figure that out, we'll figure out something. Here we go. We're looking pretty good. Now it's got to rest for about a half hour. So I'm going to just drizzle a little bit of olive oil on it. And we're going to put it back in here. And we are going to cover that with saran wrap. And we'll see you back in a half hour. All right, we have it cut up into fours. It makes it easier to work it. And so now, actually, we'll see.
That would be our dog, Charlie.
Getting a delivery from my other company, probably UPS. So,
Out of the roofers.
So we want to start it on the widest setting we have.
Okay, good guard. Hush.
Alright. And this does make it a lot easier, I'll be honest with you.
Come here.
We're folding it back on top of each other.
It is what it is. Charlie, see ya. Oh, boy.
We can start increasing it just a little bit, one at a time. There's numbers on the side of this. So we can turn that up just a hair. Yeah, it's not big enough where I can't control it.
We used to have a hand crank one of these, and we used it for about 15 years, but finally upgraded to our KitchenAid one, which makes it definitely a lot easier. Definitely makes it go a lot faster.
As we keep going, we're going to need a little flour also, so it doesn't stick to the metal at all.
One more time at this number, or?
Nope, go to the next. You're going the wrong way, but that's okay.
Oh.
This is about as thin as we like to go right here. We don't go all the way to the last one short.
All right.
And you lay it down just a little bit there, and I will cut it right in the middle. And then we're going to put these here for later. Let them dry just a little bit.
Sprinkle some flour on it.
Yep.
Alrighty.
I'll do that. I'll start working on the next piece. We'll keep it. Yeah, we gotta make sure we turn it back to where it was. Or it'll never go through.
Right. The nice thing about this attachment or any of the other machines is that you can either make lasagna noodles, or you can cut them up from here, or even with other attachments, you can make spaghetti or fettuccine, which is fun.
Yep. Yep.
Charlie, out of the kitchen. Out.
We're actually gonna cut it in half. It's gotten so big.
No, okay, you're half through.
6. Hold on. Wait a second.
Okay.
Go back down now. There we go. This is the last one.
Okay. And you want her. Down to 6, and now 7. Alright, there we go. Alright, and we'll just finish up with these pieces, and then,
We'll be back to
Yep.
make them into the shapes we want. All right, we've got it all laid out. We're gonna make 2 different types of pasta. The first one we call silk envelopes. We're just actually gonna manually cut it. It's nice and easy. They don't have to be exact. It's just gonna be all hand cut pasta. It's really thin, really tender. So when you boil it, it only takes a couple of minutes, and it really melts in your mouth. And again, you get a couple oddball sized ones, it doesn't matter. This is all hand cut pasta, nobody expects it to be perfect. Do not leave these on top of each other or they will stick. So we're going to put them right in the water. The water is boiling. We're just going to throw it in there right away. I like these fresh as can be.
sorry, we're having the roof done
Our
right
roof-
now.
Our roof is being redone, so there are a lot of noises today. Sorry.
Spurred months of that.
You want to start putting those in the water?
Yes. Oh, goodness. Alright.
There's a lot of sauces that can be done with this, but you don't want anything too overpowering. So we're actually do it 2 ways. We do it in a pesto most of the time, but today we actually have a brown butter sage sauce put on it. Sauce.
And here's the finished product. It's the envelope pasta with the brown butter sage sauce. And
And a little Parmesan cheese on top.
And a little Parmesan cheese. And I get to be the lucky one to take a bite here. Well, okay, I'm gonna eat it, but. The pasta is so thin and fluffy and light. It feels like you're almost eating air. With the Parmesan and the sage and the brown butter, it is so wonderful. I've had this dish before, obviously, with the pesto, and it marries wonderful with that as well. I've had it with pasta sauce, so I know it goes well with that as well. But I do love the sauce that it has on it right
And
now.
pair it with a nice Tuscan red. You don't have to go crazy on the wine here. A good Tuscan, a good Sangiovese would be great with this. And this is fettuccine. Nice and long. We're going to put that in a little nest there with some flour. They don't stay together, dry out nice. Alright, now we have our completed fettuccine from scratch. Not that hard. Everybody can do it. K5A makes it a lot better. But wait till we'll see you next time at See You in the Kitchen. Don't forget to like and subscribe.